I want to talk a little bit about what self-connection really means and how I view it and how it fits into whether we can feel completely self-empowered and self-actualized and fully alive and engaged. I have a client right now who's preparing for a performance that she's scheduled for herself, and it's going to be improvisational, and she's a wonderful mover. So she doesn't need to train physically to show up and be who she is and express herself for her audience. But we're working together because she is concerned that she may move into performance mode rather than the authentic, alive, relatable person that she wants to be and share with her audience. So she's working with me to try and work with this habit or kind of default place that she knows she goes to. So part of what I want to say is about how we deal with or receive attention. Many of us, myself included, for years, had kind of a default expectation of negative energy from attention from others. So if you were giving me attention, it meant I was in trouble, not you were going to love me up. And so kind of wary of what might damage me or hurt me. And it makes sense if that's my expectation that I guard myself from that, and that my default is either I'm just guarded and I don't engage at the level where I can receive that, which I guess or perceive is going to be harmful. Or, as we know, I might just hide completely. There's a way to stay small so we don't get attention at all, just kind of stay out of any kind of attention because, our experience is that it's probably not going to be good. I'm thinking of like a tyrannical parent or, just a critical brother or sibling, or maybe even in your current relationship, there's that kind of dynamic. So we hide. One thing we do is perform. So put on the persona and just like show people an image of who we are rather than be who we are. That's just way too vulnerable if letting someone see that means they might judge or shame or in other ways not be kind. Another thing that we do often is just completely dissociate. So all of a sudden there's a lot of attention, I'm just gone. I'm like, something's looking out of my eyes, but not me, not my soul. And I just kind of, and in this sort of non-engaged, non-participating kind of energy that is very uncontained, ungrounded. It's like you can't really even meet someone there because they're just not there. We might just freeze completely and put on a mask and just sort of, again, not be engaged but look like we might be open. One thing sometimes happens is just confusion, just this like, I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know what I think or what I feel or anything else right now. So I'm just going to, hang out in that place of sort of limbo. And it seems to me that, all those are connected to, in relationship kind of settings, it's connected to shame. If we're expecting to receive negative attention that feels attacking to us in some way, belittling of us, disapproving of us, then if we actually imagine being in that situation, we immediately go into shame. It's like, you know, so relative to my client who is anticipating, putting herself in front of people that she's invited to come see her do her, I see that she is concerned that she may just kind of mask herself and not really be there to receive their attention. And she's told me that a primary reason for her taking on this performance is so that she can comfortably be herself and be seen being herself. So that's what I'm working with her on. And I think the deepest piece of this is actually, how do we give attention to ourselves? So how do we view ourselves? How do we talk to ourselves? Do we have a place inside ourselves that can feel glad for that attention because we're glad to be who we are, that we feel positively about ourselves, we're connected to our heart, we're connected to our own self-appreciation, our own self-love, our own self-acceptance? Are we happy with who we are? And what I see is that if we can't connect initially to that, like, okay, this is me, I like me, I'm happy with me, and I'm going to allow people to see me, and I'm going to let them see me with affection, see me with interest, see me with love. And that, what makes that possible is that incoming energy of attention, of positive attention, meets our own self-attention, and they resonate. They're the same vibration. So we can receive that, and it fits who we are. Yes, people liking me fits me because I like me. So therefore I can receive people liking me and appreciating me. But if we're holding back on ourselves and somehow just don't believe we're worth that, or we doubt whether we're valuable or beautiful or funny or whatever it is, a graceful, beautiful mover, or have, value, then when someone tries to offer us a compliment, there's nothing in us that can receive it. We don't connect because we don't have that vibration ourselves. And so it just kind of hits and drops to the floor. And even though many, many people might give us the feedback that we're wonderful, we don't actually feel it. We don't actually receive it. There's like a gap, an unbridgeable gap between what the world actually wants to give us and what we allow ourselves to receive. So this is the area that I'm working with my client, is finding the place inside herself where she feels good about herself and empowered and accepting and loving. And then once she has that resource and knows how to find it, like that, because you step on a stage, you got to be there. And part of it is not listening to all the noise in our heads that tells us otherwise. And we can't really not listen. Instead, we have to pay attention to our resource. What is that? What is it in me? And for me, there's a posture that is the energetic of an empowered, self-connected, self-loving, self-appreciating self. There's an attitude that, I deserve this. Like, I am valuable, I am wonderful, and I can receive and connect with that energy. And there's the intention then also to show up in that way and to be authentic and be connected to self while allowing others to connect with us. So there's kind of three layers as I see it. There's a physical, embodied, sort of postural, energetic. There's a heart that needs to be open and sort of receptive. And then there's also an attitude of, this is okay. This is okay. It's okay to be me. It's okay to be me doing what I'm doing. I get to play big. I get to be full of myself. Most of us have an inner critic that jumps right in as soon as we, want to do something past our little ceiling, our little comfort zone. It just doesn't want us to be fine, because its job is showing us where we're not fine and trying to protect us from, the input of others that might shame us, or that might blame us, that might envy us, that might be jealous, that might attack us, whatever was originally or continually offered to us in the form of attention that was really shame-inducing. And it's at least my experience, I can't really fight that inner critic with words or thoughts. Not initially, anyway. It's just stronger than I can battle it. And it's in the arena where it's figured it all out. It knows all my buttons and just how to drive its point home. So if I try to just work it out in my head when I'm starting to feel stressed and anxious, it wears me out. I don't get anywhere. But there's other avenues, and I particularly am fond of and have found, real value in the embodied place. So when I'm starting to get caught in my head with worry or doubt or fear, then I can turn my attention inward, breath, posture. It's almost like I can't really push away the thoughts, but I can turn my attention somewhere else and go into body awareness and allowing my body to re-find pleasure, to reconnect with its creature aliveness. Because as you know, when the worry and the anxiety comes, our bodies change. We tighten up and contract. There's like less breath, tight belly, tight throat, headaches, all those kind of things. So those are somatic symptoms of cutting off our flow. And when we pay attention to ourselves with love and care and notice what's happening in our body, we're giving ourselves positive attention, and then our nervous system starts to open and love that and be receptive to that. And that just sort of seems to me, it kind of links immediately to the heart opening, because that's the compassion and the love and attention. The loving attention for self just opens us up. And then from there, we might be able to get an insight, because we're connected really to our strength and our power at that point. And the insight will come, oh, wait, whatever was being said through my inner critic, that's bullshit. I'm choosing something else, because we can choose it because we're already in the energy of self-empowerment. It's a skill that I think takes some time to really get good at, because we've practiced the opposite for so long for one reason. But it's so worth it. it's so great to be able to have the somatic like response to a critical thought we might not even be aware of in the moment. Pay attention to the body. Give the body what it wants, is loving attention and just focused attention. Let the energy settle. And what rises back up out of that is this empowered nervous system, this empowered energetic that then opens the heart and then allows us to step forward in our power, in our strength, in our heart, our open, loving heart. Yeah. So that's what we're focusing on. And I'm really excited to see the outcome of this work with my current client. And I'm real curious to hear what you think about that theory and if you've tried that, and if you battled mostly with the thoughts and tried to do it mentally through cognitive therapy or just journaling, I don't know, different techniques. Or if you found this really superpower of somatic connection, embodiment, ease, heart opening, and then the sky's the limit.